go ahead and download the book. Pretty soon, I want to open the chat so that we can start having some discussion. Without any further ado, meeting Bishop. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a meeting with the Bishop. As you well know, I've been having a grand time with this whole process. I want you to understand and know that the things that I discuss with you, that I talk with you about, are of vital importance, whether you want to believe that or not. I want to tell you something, and I want you to grab onto this. People say things and do things for you and to you because they care about you in most cases. Unless they're insulting you or stabbing you in the back, you can pretty much uh, deduce that they care something about you. Now, the worst thing you want to happen is people to stop telling you anything, giving you the cold shoulder, avoiding you. There have been many people that over time you have to delete their number from your phone, erase their number from your phone book. Forget that what kind of relationship you had, because you know from that day forward in nothing. I pray that that doesn't happen with us. I don't want to be the one to be standing while people who could have listened and should have listened are falling. The Bible says that there's going to be a time when there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. You can't see the signs of the times and the writing on the wall. Not much I can do. Not much anybody can do. But let us get going with our reading today. We stopped at the beware of groupthink. Show you how I navigate. Show you how right. We were talking about Stopford and Hammersley and the situation that they had at Sova, and the idea that the communication was so bad that when the opportunity came for them to really take this place, nobody was ready. So here's the interpretation of this. In planning the invasion of Sova, Hamilton thought of everything. He understood the need for surprise. Deceiving the Turks about the landing site, he mastered the logistical details of a complex amphibious assault. Locating the key point, Teki Tepe, from which the Allies could break the stalemate in Gallipoli, he crafted an excellent strategy to get there. He even tried to prepare for the kind of unexpected contingencies that can always happen in battle. But he ignored the one thing closest to him, the chain of command and the circuit of communication, by which orders, information, and decisions could circulate back and forth. He was dependent on the circuit to give him control of the situation and allow him to execute his strategy. First links in the chain of command were Stopford and Hammersley. Both men were terrified of risk. I'm hoping you're picking up on the nuances here. And Hamilton failed to adapt himself to their weakness. His order to reach Tekitep was polite, civilized, and unforceful, and Stepford and Hammersley interpreted it according to their fears. They saw Tekitep as a possible goal to aim for once the beaches were secured. You know, it's important. It's important to grab onto this because I've been saying this in other recordings and other videos. How people respond to things based on their fears. If you're afraid of something, we're not saying you're a bad person. We're not saying there's anything wrong because fear is very much human and very much normal. The challenge we have is what it does to you. Will it keep you stalemated? Will it keep you from moving? Will it keep you from performing? Because if it does, hopefully you don't have a family because your family's done. Hopefully you're not in charge of some troops because they're done. As you can see here, two out of three. Okay, one guy believed, but the other guys believed as far as their fear would let them go. But watch this. It says they had no contact with Hamilton on his island or Stopford on his boat, and Hammersley was too overwhelmed to lead them. They themselves were terrified of acting on their own and maybe messing up a plan that they never understood. He hesitated at every step. Below the colonels were officers and soldiers who, without leadership, were left wandering on the beach like lost ants. Vagueness at the top turned into confusion and lethargy at the bottom. Success depended on the speed with which information could pass in both directions along the chain of command. That's noteworthy right there. Communication is key. Now, communication, it's an unusual word, and it's one that's probably the most understood of any word that has to do with human relationships. We hear people talking about, oh, communication is the key to having a good, strong relationship. Okay, well, let's go there for a minute. Two people, one of them is coming from the outside in. Let's say they're a husband and wife. The wife is at home and the husband is coming in from work. He's tired. His day's been long. He's had a frustrating drive. He's glad to be home, but there's still that frustration factor. He walks in the house, and the wife says to him, you know what today is? Yeah, Thursday. No, today's our anniversary. Oh, almost, yeah, I completely forgot. How could you forget our anniversary? Communication here says value. What's important here? The celebration or getting through a day of work and getting back home. See, sometimes we'll get those two things jumbled up. One person says one thing and one person says another thing. Both of them might be saying eggs. One's thinking scrambled, the other one's thinking over easy. So, did the husband really forget about the anniversary? No. But on his list of priorities, that wasn't it. I've had a long day, and my brain is loaded to the gills. And so, when you talk about communication, an important trait to have is empathy. Important trait. and sympathy. Why do I say both? Usually use one or the other, but you need both, and I'm gonna tell you why. Empathy says, I feel that. I feel that. I understand. I've been there before. I can feel in my body the frustration that's in your body right this moment. So when somebody's irritated about something you do, don't think that that person is not liking you. Maybe that person has the type of personality, and their body is so sensitive to different nuances and changes that it wasn't you that bothered them. It was the situation and the fact that you had a particular feeling about it. Now you might have gotten over it, but a person who's empathetic, all they read is the actual event in their bodies. Sympathy says, I've been there before. I mean, have you ever had a situation that's similar to this one? Yeah. Talk about paradigm shifts. Okay. Anyway, success depended on the speed with which information could pass in both directions along the chain of command. So Hamilton could understand what was happening and adapt faster to the enemy. The chain was broken and Gallipoli was lost. When a failure like this happens, when a golden opportunity slips through your fingers, well, I like the way he does stuff. I like this author. When a failure happens, when a golden opportunity slips through your fingers, you naturally look for a cause. Maybe you blame your incompetent officers. Yeah, that's a good place to look. Your faulty technology, your flawed intelligence. But that is to look at the world backwards. It ensures more failure. The truth is, everything starts at the top. What determines your failure or success is your style of leadership and the chain of command that you design. Y'all are not listening to him. All right. Let me edit that. No, I need to edit that. I just need to. There you go. Okay? You need to make yourself clear. You don't make yourself clear? What could you expect to happen? See, some people are true leaders in their own heads. I heard a friend of mine say, and many people within the same classification as him makes this statement. They said, in order to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. Who did Dr. King follow? Who did Gandhi? Who did Gandhi follow? See, sometimes we make statements and they're not clear, which is exactly what this author is talking about. It's not clear. And the reason it's not clear because it's not clear in your head. Y'all are not listening to me. There are many people who are independently led and have had no teachers. I don't know where I'm from. In order for you to establish something that's true, it has to be devoid of the ability to be disproven. Are you listening to me? If it's true, it can be proven every single time. There is not, listen here, there's not one moment, not 1 second. If something is true, that there's any falsehood in it. You can't associate truth and falsehood. They are polar opposites. And this is the challenge we have in the faith, in Christianity, in most religions, because people say things and they don't have the true sense. And they'll come up with these quick sayings and these wise tales about how things should be, and it's unproven. Now, it sounds real good. It sounds real good, but is it really good? The truth of it is, maybe it's not. Okay? There are many people who have followed people their entire life and still have not met with the type of success that is supposed to be ascribed to somebody who follows. In fact, many people who followed didn't get any success until they decided they wasn't going to follow anymore. Y'all are not listening to me. So it says the truth is everything starts from the top. Everything. What determines your failure or success is your style of leadership and the chain of command that you design, not the existing chain, the chain that you design. And let me say this: a really good leader can persuade those who have practiced an old system to adopt his system with flawless precision. I recall my days as a personal trainer. I was a personal trainer, and I got hired in a place, and I became the program director. Well, the program director and the head trainer, they in two different areas. So I wanted to stay head trainer, but the caveat was I couldn't hire. So I had to make a choice. Do I want a strong team that makes money, that develops these trainers, or do I want to just be the one who makes sure they do what they should? Well, of course, I opted for the top spot. And I had people come from all different persuasions, people certified in all kinds of different organizations. And I developed a team that really wanted to train people. So they looked to me and the guys that I had on my upline for more knowledge and more information. So anyway, I noticed I had all men. I said I needed a couple of women. Three ladies walked in, and two of them were certified, one of them wasn't. No problem. So what I did with the one who wasn't trained is I had her and another guy do all of my intros. Every single one. Not one other trainer got involved with any of my intro workouts unless they brought that client in. And of course, out of a team of 7, there was not one person that wasn't working at least 8 hours a day. It was a streamlined process. What I taught these two people in the intros is for this. Look at the needs. They had to be crack shots at how to analyze what a person needs in order to direct them to the right trainer. And 9 times out of 10, they were right. And I never had to tell them, "Oh no, that's not a good fit." I was blessed. Now, mind you, they came from other backgrounds. They came from backgrounds where they had to do the intro, they had to sell it, they had to process it, they had to do all the stuff. Then you had some who didn't have to do anything but come in and train. Then you had some who would, after they would do the initial 3 sessions to close the deal, once they closed the deal, they never saw the person again. It came from all walks of life. Some people had their own boot camp type situations, didn't matter. When they walked into that place and they started associating with me, I was able to convince them that my way was better. And right until the day I closed that business, those people were always, they always ate. Even when memberships were down in the gym that we were in, they always ate. They always walked out with, you know, $800-900 checks. In fact, the company that was a franchise and the company that I worked for, they were surprised. They go, "Well, how are you doing that down there?" It's all in the leadership style. And I was passionate about training. But anyway, listen to, are you reading? I hope you're reading with me. It says, if your orders are vague and half-hearted, by the time they reach the field, they'll be meaningless. Let people work unsupervised and they will revert to their natural selfishness. They'll see in your orders what they want to see. And their behavior will promote their own interests. Unless you adapt your leadership style to the weakness in the people in your group, you will almost certainly end up with a break in the chain of command. Information in the field will reach you too slowly. A proper chain of command and the control it brings you is not an accident, it is your creation, a work of art that requires constant attention and care. Ignore it at your peril. For what the leaders are, that as a rule will the men below them be. So, tell you a little story. I was working at this company as a security officer, and the guy who was my supervisor, good guy for all intents and purposes, but there's some people you want to play cards with, but you don't want to you don't want to do much else. And tried to, I've been in this thing a little longer than he was. He's a younger guy. So, it immediately became my cross. I don't know if anybody understands what that's like. You're an older person and you're looking at the younger people and you see them banging their heads against the walls and you say to yourself, wow, something needs to happen. And it immediately their burden becomes yours. So I'm trying to talk to him and I'm trying to tell him, listen, you need to organize your post. Organize your posts. Make sure your orders are in line. Make sure you got all your policies in place. Make sure that when you communicate with anything, there's a communication log. Don't ever let anything slide by you that's not on some hard copy. He was telling me all kinds of stuff. Oh, well, the client didn't provide us with this. I said, doesn't matter. Your company has policies. You have your company's policies down there for your new officers to read. Whenever they get out of line, you refer them to that. You don't have to argue. You don't have to fuss. It is what it is. So when you come to write them up, that's what you write them up based on. You write them up based on your orders. Of course, he didn't listen to me. Then there was an incident. He told another officer, gave him some oral instructions. They were not clear. Officer didn't do it. When this supervisor's superiors came, he told them, I told him to do this, and he didn't do it. So that's grounds for insubordination, right? But it's not in the policy. See, you can't have things that are just understood. No, you got to have. In these days and times, you got to make sure that's in writing, because what a person signs their John Hancock to, they're held accountable for. So oral things that he could have. Man, I was having a bad day. I didn't even hear you. See, plausible deniability, and this is the point I was trying to make with him. You cannot allow your oral recitation to be the standard for how you operate with your people. Okay? Because there's got to be some motivation for them to keep listening to you. If they can't listen to you because they think you're cool, they better listen to you because they know that their job is at risk if they don't. So it was a big old discrepancy. Nobody got rolled up, even though it cost the company in terms of respect with the client. Then all of a sudden, some things started happening. All of a sudden, there were oral instructions that of things that are not that officers should never do. But of course, this supervisor went on ahead and he just did it and instructed other people to do it. And of course, his subordinates who also have experience in security said, no, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right at all. And see, you got to know your clients. You got to know the people you work for. Okay. You'd be a fool not to think that culture is not a mitigating factor. So you better learn who you work with, because what you just told us doesn't sound like their MO. And of course, but he wouldn't listen. Now he's demoted. No more authority. You want to think that somebody doesn't feel bad to be demoted and then got to come back to work? And you think nobody knows about it, but everybody knows about it. And it's showing in his appearance. You see? So here when we're talking about how we do things, this is mainly for the men. Listen, if you want this society to change, you're going to have to do some changing. Okay? I think in some cases, men are getting a little too soft, getting way too soft, and I don't mean soft as in I'm not tough physically. I'm talking about inside emotionally. They're a bunch of marshmallows, because there are some things that a person says to you that shouldn't make a difference whatsoever. And if you make sure that they understand, it doesn't matter. Do you know that they'll stop saying it? People are always out to push buttons. Wait, I got to put this on the frontal lobe. People are always out to push buttons. And if they can push one button, they're going to find another one to push, and another one to push, and another one to push. And if they keep pushing, keep gunning for buttons to push, listen here, it takes 21 days to form a new habit. 90 days for it to harden. Okay? 6 months, and it'll become a part of the person's personality. Don't worry, look it up. This is why they give you what? A probation period of 90 days. So they start your training from day one. They start didactic. You're reading stuff. You're getting stuff off the computer. Then they have somebody walk through it with you, and they guide you and guide you and guide you. And probably about a month or two, a month and a half in, they're pulling back on their supervision to watch how you do things. At the end of that probation period, there should be a string of successes that you have acquired over that period, and a measure of confidence that they can see, because they're watching how you interact with with the people around you. If you have people that are subordinate to you, how they respond to you, the level of production and the quality of production that's in your area or section. And so when you come off your probation period, now you're at another level. That's why they give you a raise. They encourage you. Okay, yes, you won the prize. You won another dollar, another 50 cents. In these days and times, I'm telling you right now, you probably get a $2 raise if you went to get a job somewhere now and wait a month, because they are really wanting people that want to work hard. Okay, so over the next, listen here, that's 3 months that's gone by. 90 days. There's another 3-month period. After that 6 month, if you notice, you'll go home and your physical muscle memory will start doing things that you probably never did before. Okay? You'll likely start thinking in particular ways. You'll likely start rearranging your house so that what? Your habit that you have formed now can be perpetuated everywhere. Most of the martial artists, if you're listening to this, I don't know how much history you do, but Jigoro Kono, everybody remember who he is, right? Father of judo. Okay. he developed a ranking system. For the first three ranks, you were only in that system. You were only participating for 3 months. After that, it was 6 months. After that, it was a year. This is why it took so long to get black belt. Okay, because in the color system, every basic, intermediate, advanced, those things are broken up. Okay, so after you hit the once you hit the intermediate ranks, you were at 6 months. Halfway through, it changed to a year because the last rank before you hit advanced ranking is split in two. The one before that split in two. So that means you're spending, that's actually another rank. So what he said, in order to teach his students to maintain and practice, he said karateeize everything. Take your martial arts and put them in every area of your life. And I can visualize basic strikes, basic blocks, basic kicks done doing normal things. Close a car door with your hands full. You likely do an inside crescent kick, a side kick, or you'll do some kind of hip shot. We call it chuck, hip chuck. Got your hands full. You finally unlock the door. You do a front kick to open the door. It's real simple, right? Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. Anyway, let's keep it moving. So he leaves this and he says, ignore it to your peril. In other words, you can, if you know how we say down in dark territory, you can forget this if you want to, or forget this and watch what happens. The next section, I think I'm going to end it here today. Yeah, we'll probably be reading on this for a while, but I want you to grab on to some stuff, okay? That as I talk to you, I'm trying to place us all in a mindset that nothing is promised. Nothing. Tomorrow's not promised. You don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen from the time you leave your house to the time you get to your workspace. You don't know what's going to happen between the time you leave your workspace to get home. You don't know. So when you see trouble coming, you need to start doing something to help your doggone self. Nobody coming to rescue you. And if you're a Christian and you're watching this, listen here. Jesus is not coming back for some willy-nilly person who just decided to half-heartedly do stuff. You're going to find yourself on the other side. Some people are guilty by association. You think Jesus is coming back for you? This is serious. Okay? Pretty soon they're after our kids now. You know what I mean? If they can't get you, they're going to go after your kids. And you know what? We can't afford to teach. No, we can't afford. We can do it. Okay? But I tell you what people do. People chasing the money. I need to go to work. I need to do this. I need to do that. Well, what about pulling the community together? And those people who are either retired, are not doing anything with their lives, pool your resources, keep your kids in the community, and pay those people to watch your children while you are doing your work. It's not hard to form a public school. I ain't gonna say public school. Well, slap me for that. It's not hard to form a school. You know what's hard? Getting dark Americans to do something together. That's what's hard. Okay, we got big enough problems as it stands. We can't. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Why is it that we always give half an effort, then expect everybody to treat us like gold? Okay, then they wonder why the greats in every area decide that they don't want to be bothered with the community anymore. I wouldn't put no money into you neither. Doing things half behind. Every time you turn around, it's always some excuse why things are not working out. Can't control your behavior, can't control your emotions. You're just all over the doggone place, but you want stuff. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna try to get off this. What you gonna do with $23 million in reparations? What you gonna do with it? You got no structure set up to do anything with it. So what are you gonna do? Buy some Air Jordans, buy some weave, buy some makeup, put some rims on your daggone car because you don't know nothing else. Let's be real. You'll have no respect for your own. That's why you go buy everybody else stuff. Then you wonder why people have trouble. So accept the truth. Accept the truth. We're getting our behinds kicked politically because we got people who are I'm gonna say it just like this, half-assed about most of the stuff they do. Even the women. Come on now, y'all give me a break. You don't want to submit, but then when it hits the fan, where you running to? I had the rather unfortunate opportunity. There was a video out where there's a place in Dallas called Deep Ellum, and a dark American and a light American were having an altercation because she was looking for someplace, and she had parked somewhere incorrectly, and he hit her, knocked her phone down, and so she retaliated, hit him back, and he went at her like he was in the boxing ring. I said to myself at that moment, if that would have been a brother, he would have been arrested, put underneath the doggone jail. But it was a light American. What did black people do? All dark Americans did was run their mouth in protest. Believe me, if that girl would have been Italian, y'all not hearing what I'm getting ready to say. If that sister would have been Italian, you wouldn't have heard nothing about that on the news. Cat would have been missing. Y'all are not listening to me. Where is that prowess that says you don't need to mess with me? You see, I don't know. Maybe I'm the anomaly, but I'm blessed. I consider myself blessed because I can go into any environment and not have a problem. And I've done it. White people don't seem to be threatened by me. And I don't know why, but maybe that's a good thing. But I can see their reaction to my reaction. If I get upset in the course of a discourse, all of a sudden oh, well, we shouldn't have woke that bear up. And that's how we need to be, brothers. We need to be the kind of people that when we go anywhere, oh yeah, how you doing, sir? How you doing? But they know they better not step over the line. You know, they look at you and they already over the line. Follow you in the stores, follow you down the street, pull you over. They don't mind doing it. And they don't mind doing it because of how you walking. When you start walking real don't mean real don't mean that you can get high as all get out. Don't mean that you can fight as good as all get out. Don't mean that you got to be the man in charge. You don't have to be none of that. All you have to do is be solid and strong as a man. I'm thankful to God that I've never had a challenge with certain issues in a relationship. Never, because I'm smart enough, and I'm hoping that you are too. And when you see trouble brewing, oh, I ain't got to stay around for this. Mm-mm. No, sir. There is not enough pleasure in the world to make me kiss your tail and get my butt kicked. You ain't good looking enough. Okay, I'm telling you, you are not as fine as you think you are, and brother, you ain't as cool as you think you are. You ain't that charismatic that I'm gonna stay and take your abuse. You got me messed up. Miss me. Look at these sisters on Instagram, and I thought it was odd. But watch this. This is gonna really blow your mind. I'm gonna show you this. You know, got my little phony phone right here, and you know it's weird. Okay, I hope y'all see this, right? Okay, we scroll this down into my last picture. Okay, all right, y'all see that? Okay, y'all can see that good. All right, now watch. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna hit the search icon at the bottom of the page. Watch this. Tell me what you see. Okay, look. I'm just. This is. Listen here. See, it's unreal. But you want men to respect you and marry you and take care of you and do all that stuff? No, ma'am. You have lost your brain somewhere. Download the book. Download the book. You can get it from pdfdrive.com. All right. Now, I'm looking to expand this operation and I need your support. If you could send send your contributions to my Cash App. Okay. Now, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. Okay. I want you to, with every contribution you send, I want you to make sure that you keep a record that you did that. All right. Because I want to show you something that probably no one else has shown you. Okay. But only for those who are supporters will I reveal this information. All right. So this is also being broadcast on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, like it, share it, subscribe to it, and hit the notification bell. So whenever I'm on, you can come on as well. Now, I want to get the viewership up so that we can start having conversations. Because I want to open a live chat, and I want to be able to try to extrapolate some information from you all, so that we can come up with some viable solutions. We need them yesterday. Okay, we need them yesterday. And then I can introduce you to some things and see what you think. There's a lot of options we have that just won't be heard because people do the whole hop thing. Okay, come there, you stay for a second and then leave. You go somewhere, stay for a second and leave. And then when the thing gets big, see, this is how we don't have any news. We don't have any news. You know what I'm saying? And we have people on YouTube that come up with news. Okay. But what we need to get to is we need to get to being the kind of people that we have our own systems going on. No, nobody's going to respect you until you do. So, so get off the reparation train because it ain't going to happen. Get off these, all them other trains. You trying to get something from the government because it ain't going to happen. In fact, you don't want nothing from them. You want them to push you further and further out. As long as they ain't hurting you, push you further and further out to make you do what you need to do on your own. Just like we were reading to last week, put yourself in death area. Okay, put yourself in the death area. Put yourself under the kind of pressure that if you don't do something to get out, you'll die. We got to think about that. No, listen here. Anything worth having is worth fighting for. And if you're not willing to die for your cause, guess what? You ain't worthy of the cause. This is Bishop Hart.